What if I told you all it took was a pair to win it all?
Phil Ivey, the most famous gambler in the world, was accused of cheating casinos of multiple millions of dollars.
Ivy and a female accomplice.
My name is Chang Yin Sam. Everybody call me just Kelly.
Kelly's son is probably the most dangerous match player in the world right now.
The all-new 30 for 30 podcast. Subscribe now on the ESPN app or Apple Podcasts.
30 for 30 podcast is presented by Mini. We're finding the best sports stories for you right now. And to do that, we're behind the wheel of the new Mini Countryman, the biggest Mini yet.
Please proceed to the highlighted route.
To find great sports stories, you have to get out into the world and follow your instincts. That's where the new Mini Countryman's all-wheel drive comes in handy. With all four, we can chase down a story in the city, the country, and most places in between. No matter what story you're chasing, the new Mini Countryman will help you find it. It's available now, and so are 30 for 30 podcasts.
Pardon the interruption, but I'm Mike Wilbon. I just got back from Europe, Tony. Where'd you spend the week?
I'm Tony Kornheiser. Your house.
Oh, really?
Do you know that 8 people can fit in your bed?
No, I didn't know. Hey, I don't have Wilt's bed.
Yeah.
By the way, Wilt's bed is huge.
Yeah, well, Wilt was 7 feet tall.
Yeah.
Wilt was a big man, and Wilt had plenty of people in that bed, as he wrote about constantly. But I was able to fit 8 in yours.
8 cannot fit in mine. There have to be very little people.
Please, don't tell Cheryl. Welcome to PTI, boys and girls. We are back, baby. In today's episode, Ezekiel Elliott plans to appeal. The Nationals breathe a sigh of relief, and Conor McGregor shows some pop. But we begin today with 2 veteran NFL Pro Bowlers, Marshawn Lynch and Michael Bennett, not standing for the national anthem in exhibition games over the weekend. This, of course, connects the dots to Colin Kaepernick, who is still not on a roster. Wilbon, your thoughts on this?
I got a lot of thoughts, Tony. I'm going to start with this one. Bennett is the right messenger. If you want to attach yourself to the message that is trying to be sent by a lot of these guys, Kaepernick, probably Lynch. Lynch is not the right messenger because he doesn't say anything, because he's on the platform, but there's no sound. You want to have somebody who is, and I'm going to use this word purposely, articulate, so the mass audience can understand where I'm going here. You want somebody who is going to stand up there and be tough and stake out a position. We've seen this work in the United States of America all the way down the street to the White House. And whether people agree with you or disagree with you, you've got a position and you think people will sign up to be with you. And Bennett did that. Bennett said, here's what I don't like. Here's what I want. Here's what I think is equal. And I applaud Bennett. Whether or not I agree with his standing for the anthem, I am with Bennett in the way he explained himself.
So I'm with you on Marshawn Lynch, because Lynch has said he's been doing this for years and nobody noticed.
Right.
Because Marshawn Lynch marches to his own drum beat. I mean,
it's not even a drum beat. It's a whisper.
He does,
because nobody hears it or him.
And Bennett is a smart guy. Yeah. I say this a lot, and I worry that maybe I say it so much that people pay no attention anymore. This is a constitutional right. This is a guaranteed thing. If you don't want to stand for the anthem, you don't have to. A lot of times I say it in half jest, but I'm getting to the point where it's not even half jest anymore. I don't even know why they play the anthem. I mean, they play the Beach Boys. I like the Beach Boys. I would, me personally, and I think you too, I would stand for the anthem. But if you don't, it is like not troublesome to me if you don't do this. But we have to look at this in the context of Kaepernick, and that is the more difficult thing for me, because there is no longer any nuance in this argument. There's no longer any middle ground in this.
Just screaming from one side or the other.
It's totally
Yeah, but Bennett might have opened up a new window for discussion. You don't think so? When you heard Bennett, what did you think?
I like Bennett, and I think he's smart, and I'm impressed by much of what he says. But I'm talking not about Bennett. I'm talking about Kaepernick.
I get that.
If you say you want Kaepernick on a roster, half the people in the country think you're anti-American. If you say you don't want Kaepernick on a roster, half the people think you're a racist. There's no exchange. It's out there.
And part of the reason, Kaepernick never staked out any ground. And maybe that's not his personality. Maybe that's not who he is. That's why I'm saying the messenger in this is very important. And Bennett has a message, and he knows how to position himself. Tony, I was impressed with him.
I don't think it's that big an issue. I think the game is the issue and not what people do before the game. It's just not.
So you don't think this is going to be a constant every week controversy?
It wasn't last year, so I don't think it will be this year. I don't.
And Bennett's got a job. Lucky to have that in that league.
He's good.
He's real good. Let's talk about another guy who will be sitting out the national anthem and the games that follow, 6 of them. Ezekiel Elliott has been suspended by the NFL for 6 regular season games for violating the domestic violence policy. Reportedly, his owner, Jerry Jones, isn't happy with what he perceives as the league's heavy-handed discipline. And word is Elliott, who was a huge contributor to the Cowboys' 13 wins last season, will appeal. Tony, do you see the NFL reducing Elliott's suspension?
Here's what I see. I see that if you take testimony on both sides, it's going to be sordid. It's going to be awful. Elliott's people are going to go after the credibility of the woman
Which
involved
they've already done,
here.
sort of.
I don't know if it will be reduced. I'm not sure. And I have a little bit of difficulty with this, as I think many people do. The police looked into this. The police investigated this, and they chose not to prosecute it. So the NFL is taking a much harder position than the government of Ohio,
because
right?
the NFL has seen with the Ray Rice case,
and I understand
that it is on the hook for much harsher reaction coming at it as opposed to the local government.
I don't think that they will necessarily reduce it at all, because their policy is made much in reaction to what happened with Ray Rice.
No question, Tony. You know, I wonder about it too. First of all, if I was representing Ezekiel Elliott, I would want to appeal. Thinking, by the way, that if for reasons of competition and finance, I would like to get that suspension reduced at least to 4 games, not 2 games off of it. But if I'm the league, I doubt it. I have staked out a position here. I have explained it. There are seminars. Every team has its players talk to. And I realized that Elliott was just coming into the league when this happened. But even on the way into the league, he knew about this. Even at Ohio State, the Ohio State University, he supposedly would know. So I don't know if I'm the league. I'm probably not reducing his suspension.
I don't think that they will reduce the suspension. And then I think it becomes at that point fair to ask, how does it affect the Cowboys? And my immediate answer to that is, the New England Patriots lost Tom Brady for 4 games. Yeah. He's more important to his team than Ezekiel Elliott is to his team. And they won the Super Bowl. Yeah. You know,
and they got running backs on the Cowboys. The running backs are fungible, replaceable. This guy was a rookie last year. Yeah. So they,
Bryce Harper narrowly escaped serious injury over the weekend when he tripped over first base in a game where it was raining. Not that a badly bruised knee is nothing, but at least Harper does not require an operation that would have sidelined him from the playoffs. Harper's agent, Scott Boras, says the bases are too slippery and they should be changed. Wilbon, you say what? Look at that picture.
They're too slippery.
Woo!
I got to tell you this. So I'm in Europe when this happens, in Scotland, and there's only one clip from baseball because baseball not resonating anywhere in Europe. But they showed this clip of Bryce Harper, and immediately young Matthew says, "Dad, is Mr. Kornheiser okay?" And I said, "Unlikely. He's not okay at this point. We don't know how seriously hurt." The
when you see him laying on the ground there,
this could be.
You see him holding his knee, and you see his hair flying around all over the place.
It could be.
No,
you think it could be?
They can't win in the playoffs with him. They certainly cannot win without him.
So I'm glad. The first bit of news is we're glad that Mr. Boris' client is going to be out there again on the field. Yeah. Seems like a couple of weeks or so, whatever. Fine. Even if it's a month. Fine. He'll be back.
Yes.
Okay. Yes. Now the bases. You and I played a lot of baseball as kids, teenagers. And they had a canvas top bag out there. Did anybody ever slip?
No.
Even if it was a snowstorm. No. And we played baseball in the snow in Chicago and New York.
No.
No one ever slipped. So put it back out there. Dry off the damn bases. We don't need an inquisition. It's a base. Dry it off.
When we played baseball, the bases weren't the size of an apple pie.
No.
They were
like
5 inches thick.
When do you need that?
Right. And they weren't covered with rubber. They were sort of hollowed out canvas. And this was fine. Everybody did all right with this. The problem in this circumstance is the scheduling. The Giants were in Washington. It's a 3,000-mile flight. It's just about the longest thing you can do in the National League except to New York or Miami. Right? Now, they've already rained out the Friday night game, and they've scheduled a doubleheader for Sunday. If they rain out Saturday night, they can't have a tripleheader. So they waited more than 3 hours before they started the game, and it was still wet. It was raining.
The Nats waited once there was no rain. 2 hours. Nice job out of your people.
Right. Well,
I'm just saying, look, the only story here is Bryce Harper has a knee bruise.
He'll be all right.
A contusion, whatever. He's going to be fine. But Boris is right. Go get the slick stuff off the base. 100%. How hard is this?
100%. Shouldn't be hard.
All right. We agreed the first time today, I think. Maybe not. Maybe the second time.
We agree all the time. We just yell.
We're only 12 days away, as you may be keeping count, from Mayweather-McGregor. And the hype is flying now. Over the weekend, UFC agitator Dana White posted video of former welterweight champ Paulie Malignaggi, how about that name, who had been in and out of McGregor's camp being knocked down by McGregor. Seriously, I've seen harder punches landed on the red line in Chicago. Anyway, after seeing this powder puff junk, is there any chance whatsoever that you now think more highly of McGregor's boxing skills?
Well, I'm going to get to that in a second, but I will say that you correctly identify the fact that this fight is being sold 24 hours a day all the time. So it occurred to me that it's possible that whole knockout was staged and leaked deliberately in order to help build the gate, because everybody's trying to help build the gate. My thoughts about the fight are that Floyd Mayweather is a professional boxer, and he's used to fighting professional boxers. If this other guy runs across the ring like a berserker and does this for the first 3 rounds, and McGregor's not used to anyone fighting like this because nobody's ever fought like that, then I think he probably has a chance. He's big.
Because Mayweather's
he's
not
tough.
used to.
Mayweather is not used to that. Right, because he's a pro boxer. I mean, basically, I think that if it goes more than 3 rounds, that Mayweather will win easily.
Mayweather doesn't like to knock anybody out because it doesn't give him a chance to do what he does. He wants to put on sort of a show.
As a defender.
Not like Ray Leonard, a show, that kind of show, because he didn't have that kind of offensive skill. His skill is primarily defensive. But this is nothing. The video's a waste of time. I don't even see why they leak it. It shows nothing. It shows a guy going like this
down.
And a guy going, you know.
Listen, the other day I was watching television and they showed McGregor's entire workout. It had to be over an hour, and he was just working on this bag and that bag and the other bag. And you say to yourself,
Floyd
Mayweather is not a bag.
If
Floyd
Mayweather trains seriously for this fight and does not do, you know, some deal where he just goes to Vegas and hangs out. If Floyd Mayweather, from all accounts, trains,
you'd think he'd win.
McGregor's not going to win.
Because one guy's a boxer and the other guy is a kick fighter.
Yeah.
It's not the same. A 24-year-old American won the PGA at Quail Hollow yesterday, but it wasn't the 24-year-old American everyone assumed would win. It wasn't Jordan Spieth. It was his dear pal, Justin Thomas. Wilbon, is there any reason to believe Justin Thomas is anything other than another unknown first-time winner of a major?
Yes. Justin Thomas was having a great season already. Justin Thomas is going to be the player of the year on the PGA Tour. And with good reason. The guy's thrown out a 59. He shot 62 in a major. He was already 63. I'm sorry, 63. He didn't shoot 62.
One other guy shot 62 and it didn't even matter.
63. Yes, he's the player of the year, so it's different. I know the PGA has a history of guys winning one-off, and then you either don't hear from them again, or they pop up every now and then. No, this guy's starting off being player of the year in 24.
Right, so I'm going to make this very, very simple. This guy is the goods.
Yeah.
This is not Trevor Immelman. This is not Lucas Glover. This is a guy who's a really terrific player. And you know what I took away, and I watched a lot of it, and I'm not going to say it was the most exciting thing in the world, but this kid won it. He birdied 10. He birdied 13.
He did.
He birdied 17.
But a lot of people went by the wayside. As soon as they looked up and saw 16, 17, 18
Stroud,
on all
Kinsler.
4 days.
Yeah, no, they all did. But
Murayama, I thought he was going to win.
This guy, Matsuyama.
Who did I say? What did I say? Did I skip sports? Matsuyama.
Yeah, I think you did. Here, this guy is really, really good. And you know what I took away? Tiger and Phil, over. It's done. McIlroy, Day, Spieth, Thomas. I'm saying these are guys in their 20s. Fowler in his 20s. Dustin Johnson barely into his 30s. It's theirs now. They own the sport now. They own it.
They're sort of renting.
No, they own it.
No, they don't own it. You know why? Because it wasn't spectacular. I rushed in last night and saw the
British
replay
Open
and
was
watched like
spectacular.
5 hours when I got off a plane, and it wasn't exciting, Tony. When Tiger and Phil are out there, it was exciting. And throwing L's and VJ and the previous generation of guys, it was exciting on the final day of a major.
Done.
This isn't.
You have seen the turnover to a younger crowd. A younger crowd. I think they're good players. I think they're very good players.
That's not the question.
No, they don't have the charisma yet. You can get that down the road.
Those guys had it early.
Let's take a break. Coming up,
Matsuyama.
Wilbon has been...
Matsuyama.
What did I say? Wilbon has been tough on Mitchell Trubisky. Did that strong debut win him over?
And did Cristiano Ronaldo really deserve a 5-game suspension? For that!
I think you said Murayama.
Did I say that? I got jet lag.
Daddy, where do babies come from?
Honey?
Mommy went to the store.
Oh, well, you see, there's a mommy and a daddy, right?
Right.
And see, when they call Geico, they could save a bunch of money on car insurance.
Oh, really? And that makes them happy?
Yes, that makes them very happy.
That's good.
Yeah. Well, I'm glad we could have this talk, Sunshine.
Geico, because saving 15% or more on car insurance is always a great answer.
It's mail time. You pick the issues and we pretend to care.
No, we care.
Come
on. Don't say that to our faithful viewers.
Does it make sense to you that the Bills got rid of Sammy Watkins?
No, it really doesn't. If you want to win now, and you've got LaShawn McCoy, and you can put Sammy Watkins out there and sort of spread the field, why would you trade to get a defensive back and a second-round pick? What is the point here? What are the Bills doing? Oh, wait. They've had 5 GMs in 10 years. They've had 6 coaches in 10 years. They don't know what they're doing at the top of the pyramid. That's what makes sense to me.
They've also had 5 starting quarterbacks in 10 years. And I think when you look at the Bills, I think they've gone the longest without making the playoffs.
Yeah.
They turn over at the top all the time. They turned over ownership recently, obviously. I don't think they know what they're doing. I mean, I watched this kid in college. I thought he was really good. I know he has trouble getting onto the field, but I would think that he's a threat in a passing game that you would want to have.
He averaged 17 yards a catch 2 seasons ago when he was healthy. He was hurt last season. Tony, they got a bunch of picks now. Maybe they're doing like the Philadelphia 76ers. Trust the process.
It's harder in football.
6 picks.
It's not more
in the first 2 rounds
as it is in
I'm just saying that would be their spin. Did the Tampa Bay Buccaneers give up on Roberto Aguayo too soon?
No. You know, they drafted him in the 2nd round a full year ago. If you're going to trade up, as they did for a kicker, you better get Sebastian Janikowski.
Yeah.
You better get a Hall of Famer. They watch this guy every single day in practice, and they decided he stinks. The other day, he banged one off the crossbar in an exhibition game. Maybe he'll be good somewhere else, because that happens with kickers.
Well, that's what I'm going to get
Kickers float around, and they do well somewhere else. But in that environment,
Yeah.
the way he started out,
Pressure.
and the fans
Too much
didn't like
pressure
him.
on him.
And
I blame the team for that, too. Let's blame the team for
That's
some of
fine.
this. I want to blame the players all the time. Not that you're doing that. Matt Bryant, who led the NFL in field goals made last season, his 3rd team. Kai Forbath, wasn't he one of those ex-Redskins?
Yes.
Okay, 3rd team. He led the league in field goal percentage. Stephen Hauschka, another guy that you'd have called
He won a Super Bowl, I think,
kicker
in Seattle.
with Seattle.
Yeah.
His 3rd team. Kickers do float around.
You
And
know
the
where this guy
Bears,
landed?
What are they
Landed
doing?
with the Bears.
They got, you know who they got rid of? They got rid of Robbie Gould, who at one point was the leading kicker in the history of the league. They said, get out.
This is for you.
What?
Is Wilbon going to hop on the Mitchell Trubisky bandwagon?
No, there's no bandwagon. If there's a bandwagon, get off of it. All right, Mitchell Trubisky looked great. He was throwing the ball all over the place, on the move mostly.
Look how good that is.
Okay, you don't notice this because you don't pay attention and
Look
don't care
how
about
good that
this.
is.
Tony, do you know who the guys who he's throwing against?
No.
They're so low
at that.
down on
Oh,
the
that was a
depth
good one.
chart,
That was a good
meaning
throw.
3rd and 4th string and lower.
Right.
They'll be trying really hard to get on the CFL invitee list. They're not going to be playing on Sunday, so it doesn't matter how many passes he completes against them.
You have professionally staked a position that you hate this guy.
No, I don't.
You said
I don't hate him.
You hated
I hate
Cutler.
the people who
You
drafted
hate
him.
Trubisky.
Get it right.
You hate Glennon. You hated Rex Grossman.
I didn't hate Rex
You're
Grossman.
invested
Stop.
in the fact that Chicago can't get it right when it comes to
can't.
quarterback.
We can't.
And you yell and scream all the time about this, and you want this
Do we
guy
get it
to
right?
fail.
Do we get it right?
When this guy's
When have we
all
last
pro?
gotten it right?
Sid Luckman.
No, McMahon. 1982.
And then before that,
Thank you very
Sid
much.
Luckman.
35 years.
1882.
We're waiting on the next golden child. Got me all angry now.
I don't care.
Fresh from vacation. Did Cristiano Ronaldo deserve a 5-game suspension for shoving that ref?
Yeah, you can't shove the ref. You get 5 games. You know what? You take this. You came back from England
this penalty.
talking about the Premier League, totally converted to a soccer file at this point. This is your league. This is your account, like
Great.
the Bears. Go ahead.
They say this is simulation, as if he's simulating going down like he's a faker, like he's a NBA
Vlade
flopper.
Divac.
Yeah, he didn't fake. He got bumped off his route at full speed and he fell. Now,
Why push the ref? You can't push
but
the ref.
he never should have gotten his second yellow, which equals a red. He never should have gotten it.
Look at you, Mr. Soccer.
You know, I come back to this country.
Like
Let me tell you
Beckham.
something. You Americans. I come back here.
What?
And I got to hear about some third-rate NFL camp story and some ninth-string dude, Mitchell Trubisky story and the great Ronaldo, the most beautiful man on the planet, gets hosed. And you want me to care about the NFL
he pushed
training
the referee,
camps?
didn't he? Don't you get fired
The
for that?
referee is sort of ugly and stumpy. He should have pushed him.
Enough email. Let's take one last break, but coming up, Tim Tebow, who's not ugly or stumpy, takes a fastball to the forehead but stays in the game. Isn't he ready for the bigs?
Yeah, that'll teach you. Florida suspends 7 players for their opener against Michigan. They go too far in
How many teams are there in the Premier League?
I don't know. 30 maybe? I don't know. I don't know.
I
don't know.
thought
It
you
only
were a big
matters.
fan now.
The top matters.
Happy time. People have a 27th birthday, Chris Rowell. The right-handed starter for the Blue Jays made his major league debut over the weekend, delivering 5 1/3 innings of 1-run ball and the win. That's nice, but the significance is that Rowley is the first West Point graduate to ever play Major League Baseball.
Wow.
And his debut was likely delayed by 30 months of active duty.
Tony, he was working for NATO, something called Operation Atlantic Resolve, in Bulgaria and Romania in field artillery. He was playing catch with his medic a year ago. What a story.
Happy anniversary, Usain Bolt. On this day last year, the world's fastest man won his 3rd straight Olympic gold medal in the 100-meter dash in Rio, becoming the first sprinter to accomplish the feat. Wilbon, you were just in London for the World Championships. You saw Bolt lose to American Justin Gatlin. What was that like?
I sat next to Gatlin's parents, and they felt triumphant. Their son was booed at every turn in London, and it was an amazing thing. And the night itself, Tony, as you know, for track and field in that event, electric.
A melancholy happy trails to Frank Broyles, the legendary football coach at Arkansas, died today at the age of 92. Broyles coached the Razorbacks to their only national championship in 1964. He was on the level of Darrell Royal and Bear Bryant, Woody Hayes, John McKay. Broyles made the transition to television, working primarily with Keith Jackson on ABC for 8 years. Mike, I believe it was Frank Broyles who first elongated the phrase student athlete.
Well, he certainly popularized the pronunciation of it. But, Tony, he was college football royalty, and there was a great respect for Frank Broyles. Not all these guys, as great as they are sort of beloved. Frank Broyles was that, is that.
One correction today, Mr. Soccer to my left had it wrong.
What?
There are 20 teams in the EPL, not 30.
I said I didn't know. I guess
Let's
30.
go to the big
Stop
finish.
it.
Florida has suspended 7 players for the Michigan opener, including top playmaker Antonio Callaway. Is that justice?
Oh, Coach Kaki is pretty happy at that, isn't it? Having to face that
I would
top
think.
playmaker. Michigan. Tim Tebow got hit in the head in the helmet by a fastball, but stayed in the game. You impressed?
Sure. I can't wait for the call-up. Don't you think the Mets are going to call him
I
up?
want to see him in a football jersey. I'm the only guy.
Giancarlo Stanton now has 42 homers. He's on pace for 59. Is that a big deal?
I don't know if it's a big deal, but he passed the Judge, didn't he? He just went right past your boy on the Yankees.
Yeah.
Went right past him.
Yeah, he did. As we both said he would.
Whew. John Heyman says that if Derek Jeter buys the Marlins, the home run sculpture may go too hasty.
Is that big fish they have in center
what
field?
is that?
You know what he ought to put up?
What?
A big statue of Levitard. That'd be funny in Miami. Last one, your boy Kyle
fired.
Schwarber
Yeah.
has struck out 7 straight times. How many tonight?
He's going to hit 2 home runs tonight against the Reds. 2 home
You're
runs.
way out there on that one. I
tonight.
hope you're right. We're out of
All right.
time. Try and do better the next time. I'm Tony Kornheiser.
I'm Mike Wilbon. Same time tomorrow, Knuckleheads. You can get the PTI podcast on the ESPN app or Apple Podcasts.
The great Jimmy Dunn. Shout out.